So let me welcome Francis Nkoka. He's a senior risk management specialist at the World Bank and Global Facility for Disaster Risk Reduction and Recovery country coordinator for Malawi. He previously worked for Save the Children and Care International. He has been supportive of the Prepare project and is on the advisory board for Safer Prepared. His presentation is natural hazard and disaster risk reduction. Hi, Francis, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. I think I'll quickly run through some of the issues, observation based on the work which we are doing at the World Bank. My experience in the World Bank, my experience in these activities, but also emerging from the work I've done with Save the Children and the Care International. So what I just want to focus on the challenges, but I think we are all aware about the disaster profile of Malawi. We understand about the incidences of drought, floods in the different years. We also are aware of the losses which are incurred by the different hazards in the different years. We are also aware of the impact of this to the GDP, to the livelihoods. We are aware of the impact of this to the different sectors of the economy. I think from the bank, what we've been doing is mainly on climate and disaster risk is mainly to understand the risk. So that's a lot of work which we have done in the country to understand the risk. When I joined the bank in 2011, I had realized that we have done a lot of studies in the country, integrated flood risk management plan for the Shire Basin, flood scenarios for the Shire Basin. There was a study which was done in 2009 on the earthquake impact in Karonga. So that's the basis. The basis is the understanding what is the risk, where is the risk, so that through that one can be able to make an informed decision. Then the next thing which we do is to reduce existing risks. So it's fun. When you're understanding the risk, and we know that there are risks which are coming, but the other risks which are currently existing. And I think this is one of the areas that we have been doing as a bank, and I see a number of stakeholders in the country they have been doing. So mainstreaming climate and resilient, risk-informed activities in the operation. So the issues of the building codes, we've been supporting safer housing construction guidelines. We've been supporting safer school construction guidelines. We did the work on the impact of the of different hazards to the road network or road infrastructure. So that's another area of reducing existing risks. Another area we have been focusing our work is to prepare for the next shocks. So prepare what is coming ahead. So here we have been investing in the early warning systems, contingency plan, disaster preparedness, and all that. Then another area on the risk reduction is to look at the financial protection, because we understand that the fact that we are going to do all the necessary activities to prepare for the disasters, we are going to do we are going to have more better early warning systems, contingency plan. Still, a disaster will occur in one way or the other. So we need to have the financial protections, financial instrument, which will be able to provide to the clients to be able to respond to the needs when it happens. In this context, we have been having a different instrument which we use as a bank. We have instrument like Kadido, which is mainly to provide financing in case of the disaster. We have another instrument, we call it the contingency of emergency response component, SEC. That's another instrument which we use, and there are several instruments which we use there to focus on that. Then another area that has been focusing is supporting resilience construction in the different sectors. Now, when we look at the challenges and the opportunities in risk reduction, we need to look them on these lines. So we look at the challenges on understanding risk in risk reduction, preparing for the next shocks, arranging the financial protection and the reconstruction. I'll go one by one. I may not exhaust all these, but I'll be quick, considering that we also have to run to the other presentation. So one of the challenges I've seen in the okay, I mean this is similar to what I just said, but one of the challenges I see as a big problem is the capacity building and the awareness. In the country, there are several and different stakeholders, departments who are working on disaster risk reduction. But I think capacity building, the capacity and the awareness of issues of the disaster risk reduction is still weak. There's a lot of issues I can raise there, but one of the things which we have done is carrying a lot of training. We've done a lot of training on the economic vulnerability of disasters to the country, and in this we targeted the Minister of Finance. The idea is when the Minister of Finance they are aware about the impact of disasters to the different sectors of the economy, they can easily start allocating resources for risk reduction, because in this country, a lot of resources of risk reduction are coming from development partners. They're not coming from the government budget, and that affects the agenda. The agenda is being led by the development partners instead of the risk reduction agenda to be led by government and development partners to follow and provide financing where government wants. But because now the agenda is being led by the different development partners, you find the approaches, the systems, the way things are done are completely different because of the different development partners who are financing the risk reduction activities in the country. I've seen this in Mozambique. I'm seeing this in Nigeria. I've seen it in Zimbabwe. So it's kind of similar trend of how the risk reduction agenda is carried out in country. And so capacity building is critical, and awareness raising is also very critical. Another point I want to say, sorry for all those the movement, but the point here I want to raise is the system approach. What we have seen is instead of looking at the entire system and approach it as a system, we have been doing a lot of piecemeals, and with the idea that after doing this piecemeal and that piecemeal will lead to the overall objective. But we have failed over time because we know risk reduction is not the responsibility of only disaster risk department, or it's not the responsibility of MET department. It's the responsibility of everyone. Minister of Agriculture, transport, everyone is supposed to be involved. Water, the trade, everyone is supposed to be involved because there's a lot of areas being affected in disasters. So system approach is one of the areas which we are failing to adopt as a country, that we can have meaningful impact in risk reduction. So traditional authorities, NGOs, general public, the district councils, all of them are supposed to work together in risk reduction. And the example I'm giving there is the example in the Shire Basin. We need everyone to be involved so that river basin management can come in and can help. Another point I raised is about risky financing. So an idea of having insurances, and the bank we have provided insurance to the to the country on different weather shocks. We need that because it provides liquidity when it is needed. Contingent loans, like the candidate have indicated, and also reserves, like emergency fund. I think the example this year, when this tropical storm Anna hits the country, we all know what happened. That DODMA, the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, where we are struggling, running up and down, that they can ably find resources to finance even assessment, response, and even early recovery. Up to now, I'm not sure if the budget has been made, but if we have reserves, it helps in the to run very quickly and be able to manage this. Coordination is a big problem. We have seen departments working in isolation. Every department, they're working not coordinating with another department. For example, we need water department and emergency department to talk together very closely for us to understand what is happening. We need this department to talk to the Minister of Transport, to talk to the Housing Department, to talk to DODMA. That is not there yet. That's one of the problems. Another problem is the project coordination. Excuse me. So we have different projects which are being implemented, but are not properly coordinated. That's another big problem. And there is a vertical and the horizontal coordination also is very weak. So what is happening at national level, like at the headquarters level, in, for example, at Capitol Hill, and what is happening in the districts, they are not well coordinated, and that's not that's affecting also the work being done in risk reduction, and specialists in the different sectors, different ministries, department, they are not they're not motivated to coordinate. Another area which is also a big problem is what we have observed from the cyclone Idai, and what we are seeing even now in the tropical storm Anna is the poor suffers more, and when the poor are suffering more, the ones making decisions, they are not those poor, they are others, and that's also an impact. If you see there, the flooding in the 2019 affects the area which are more poor area. Even the flooding now affected the more poor areas, and that's another problem, and that also affected decision making and all that. Policies not speaking to each other. Policies are contradicting. If you look at policies in agriculture and policies in water resources, they're not talking to each other. Policies are not driven by the sector needs, but driven at the political podium and all that. That's another problem. So if you look at that, some of the issues we have been looking at is every sector. There's a lot of work we can do in risk reduction, like education. We can do safer schools. Infrastructure, we've been doing building codes, safer school construction, water resources, flood risk assessment. These are the work which we need to work together for us to be able to contribute effectively into risk reduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Francis. It was a very nice and interesting presentation. I think we have time for a couple of questions. I can see a first question in the chat. So you raise an interesting point, Francis, about the need for capacity building at the Ministry of Finance. But what progress has been made so far on that front in terms of improving Malawi's budget for DRM?
If I can take that quickly, that's a very good question from Mr. Chavula. We have a problem. I think one of the challenges which I didn't raise in my presentation is about the DRM bill. currently, if we want proper financing proper financing for DRM, the bill needs to be approved. So we are all aware that we have a policy which was approved in 2015, and it was approved at gunpoint, because the donors told government that this disaster, we are not going to support you until you approve the policy. The bill, we've been discussing the bill, I think I can remember since 2011 or 2012, the bill is not approved up to now. It was taken to Parliament, to Cabinet in 2 years ago, before the change of government, and in the next few months the government changed. Now the current Parliament Cabinet hasn't seen the bill yet. So that's a very important area. So we need the bill to be approved. What we have done from the bank, we have presented the impact of disaster. Mainly, we carried out a study on the economic impact of drought and floods to the economy of the country, and we realized that floods only of the Shire Basin, they affect 1% of the GDP, and the drought affects 0.7 of the GDP. We presented that. So Minister of Finance is aware now about the impact of disasters to the economy. They are aware. Now, what we need is now to push into like strategies. So now, one thing I wanted to say is we supported the Minister of Finance to come up with the disaster risk financing strategy. So there is a strategy of financing disasters. It is there with Minister of Finance. It is giving them different areas on how they can finance disasters. So they have it, it's approved, it's there. That's why now Minister of Finance has been even discussing, without the support from the bank, has been discussing with the different partners on financing for insurance and all that. So there is some progress, but we still can make more progress if the bill will be approved, because the bill, it is also very clear in financing for DRM in the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francis. This is very interesting. I had a quick question about parametric cat bonds, but I will leave it for later in the interest of time. So I will move on to the next speaker. Thanks again. Thank you.